There's just a lot of observers. All right, well, take her away, Penguin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the After Hours Gaming League week number 5. We have here IBM versus National Instruments. Both of these teams did pretty well last week, picking up a win. IBM is even on a 2-win streak. Both of these teams really want to continue with the momentum in their favor. Who are our first players going to be, Rifkin?
Spawning up here in the upper right corner of Howling Peak, it is none other than National Instruments' own Frugalate.
And his opponent in the bottom left spawn location, the Red Zerg, Submotion.
Alright, that's PvZ, and this match has come a long way since Wings of Liberty, Penguin.
It really has. I mean, all of the Protoss matchups are pretty different in Heart of the Swarm, mainly because of just how awesomely viable Skytoss is. And Skytoss, I'd say it's probably... Stargates are probably most utilized in PvT right now, just because their Void Rays are really strong. But even against Zerg, even in PvP, Stargate play is still pretty awesome. I'm really hoping we actually get to see some late-game Skytoss, but...
Yeah, I don't think we've really seen Tempest make their footmark on the After Hours Gaming League so far. It's a lot of things have been decided with things like Oracles or Dark Templar or Swarm Hosts. Actually, the coolest guys last week. National Instruments had an awesome game, an awesome series. We are casting for the second week in a row, and I don't have any particular favoritism to them, but Game 5 of Week 4, National Instruments, highly recommended for some really cool PvZ tactics.
Yeah, that was actually absolutely awesome, and it was able to, obviously, since it was Game 5, clinch the series for National Instruments. If I'm not mistaken, it was their first season win, so really important for them to get that on the board, and now they really want to continue with the momentum in their favor. There we go. I actually have a couple interesting... Yes. I do actually have a little bit of interesting information about IBM. IBM did actually get all the way to the finals last season, and then they ended up losing to Epic. And they did even get off to a bit of a slow start in Season 2, but they've grabbed 2 wins in the last couple weeks as well, so they're really hoping to be able to return to the finals, maybe even win the whole thing this time around. Submotion is one of 2 new players that IBM is fielding this season, so he hasn't really had as much experience in the After Hours Gaming League as some of the other players have. I'm not sure if Frugalate is a new player. Actually, he is, because National Instruments hasn't played in After Hours Gaming League before, but... Oh, we actually have a double extractor trick. That looked cool. But I'm really interested to see how these teams both are able to play. They're obviously, both of them have a lot of momentum going into this, so hopefully we'll see a very confident performance from both sides.
Yeah, no, one thing I do want to kind of coolly note here is, we talk about PvZ coming a long way, and for those who don't know what we mean by this, in Wings of Liberty currently, almost every one of these matchups, you're going to see a Protoss player go for a Forge Fast Expand. This mouth of the base is covered in cannons, walls, gateways, and line, anything you can to wall off, but when there's a second opening here, you can't really do that on Howling Peak anymore, and it's kind of prompted some different builds, and as we saw here, Frugalate went for the Gateway first. Gateway first is really nice too, because you can do some aggression if you want, but more importantly, you can defend if the Zerg's coming your way. And I love this wall that he's building. It is choking off against the mineral line very nicely, creating a huge loop that the Zerglings will have to run around if they want to get into the base.
Very true, Rifkin. And I mean, as you just said as well, you can Forge Fast Expand on this map, but it ends up costing you so much because you have to wall off that second area, you need to put up a cannon there, a couple gateways maybe. The entire wall just ends up costing you a whole lot more. So I really like what Frugalate is actually going for here. We also see him chrono boosting Warp Gate, so we may be actually doing it again, so we may see some early aggression out of him, as you were mentioning. A lot of drones on the way for Submotion, though. He's just really droning up to his heart's content. He's only made 1 set of Zerglings so far, and, well, looks like a pretty standard passive opening so far.
Yeah, go for that economy. I mean, that's what you want to do. That's one thing that will never change about this game. The economy is your backbone to everything. You can have an army full of stalkers, but if you don't have the economy to replace them when they die, you're going to be down and out.
Yeah, I mean, we also... It looks like both players are going to be focusing a lot on economy. Just looking at the way Frugalate has him going, he did chrono out that Warp Gate a little bit. He does have 2 gateways up, but he is going with sentries, so looks like he wants to play a lot more defensively. So in the beginning of this game, we have a couple of spines coming up for Submotion, so it doesn't look like he wants to be all that aggressive either. He's still only on 2 base though. I thought that was a drone going straight further north, but that's a Ling.
We're talking about potential aggression. Here we go. 4 gateways coming down. This will bring him up to a total of 6. Now, he doesn't have a robo bay down, or sorry, robo facility down by any means. So this is not like your typical Sentry Immortal all-in that we're so used to seeing. Well, he's got sentries on the field. They're all pretty much just gathering energy right now. There's not a lot for them to do. But the one thing I do want to point out that is available, that isn't typically available, is the fact that in Heart of the Swarm, sentries have hallucination built in. So we could see some cool tactics if Frugalate wants to go with the mind game approach.
I'm really interested to see what he does here, but the problem is that he's going for a mass gateway all-in, which, as you said before, means that he doesn't have a robo. With no robo, no Stargate, he has no detection, and Submotion is going Burrow. He's going to be able to hold this off easily with Burrow Roaches and Spine Crawlers.
Yeah, Burrow being moved down to tier 1 is really nice. For those who don't know, Roaches have insane regeneration underground. Like, they might as well have a medevac healing them while they are burrowed. So, you know, a little bit of hit and run, burrow, refresh. All of a sudden, your army's good as new was your opponent has lost several units in the process. But here we go. Frugalate is, in fact, going to move across the field. He's got a forward pylon down too, Penguin. And with 6 gateways of warp-ins, he might just get the damage done he wants to do. Our Zerg player is stuck on only 2 bases, but he has Spine Crawlers. He's got a lot of Roaches, and as you pointed out, Burrow is complete now.
I'm not really sure I like the positioning on those Spine Crawlers. I feel like we should move those forward, because at this point, Frugalate is going to be able to engage so close to the ramp, he can just force field it off forever. We only have 7 Roaches on the field so far, 4 more on the way. He does have an Evo Chamber and a Lair, though. That's a lot of resources that are not being used, and now he sees this coming forward. The probe goes down. Spine Crawlers are starting to poke, but he's going to go straight up into the main and force field behind him.
Oh, with force fields behind him, this is going to be kind of devastating. Actually, not even force fielding behind him. Oh, there we go. A little bit. There we go. He did get it off. Now, the mothership here, the mothership core is pretty big because the queen is the only source of anti-air. So if Submotion cleans this up and can't kill the mothership core with queens, he's still going to lose units non-stop to it.
Yeah, these force fields are continuing to go on down. A couple more are left on that 1 sentry. He's got 2 more, and he's warping in more stalkers at the front. I don't like his idea to move down the ramp here. Good, he is going back into the main, but the lair is almost complete. If he focuses that down, that's going to be a huge win. He's going instead for the worker line. A couple of lings are going to be popping out. I'd
really like them to just seal the deal. Oh, Burrow on those workers will deny any sort of death as the mothership core cannot do anything about it.
Really nice, actually. The decision to burrow those drones is great. He hasn't lost very much, and the Zerglings are going to get a full surround, even to that speed. That's huge. The Stalkers are backed into a corner here, and he's actually going to lose all of his units. He's got a bunch of Zealots moving forward that is going to do really well against the Lings, but
frankly, I would have liked to have seen either a Time Warp or a Mass Recall out of that Mothership Core, not really using the full potential of it, and might actually lose it to the Queen Penguin.
He's got to be careful. It looks like he will get away with it, but he's taking a lot of hull damage on that, and it's going to die a lot quicker in the future here. But Frugalate going to continue going for this all-in here, and it looks like he doesn't really want to drone up behind it. He's not getting any probe. He has a lot of idle minerals, though. And trying to push on forward again. There's not really all that much on the field for Submotion. He's only just unburrowed the drones in the main.
It's too bad he doesn't have Roach Burrow research for that Submotion. But no, in all reality, he is holding this off just barely. But the thing is, Frugalate is also, like, as you said, this is kind of an all-in. We don't see him continuing to probe up behind this. He's just dumping every bit of resource he has into this. And Submotion, I mean, he is not exactly coming out ahead in these engages.
Not at all. I mean, that one Spine Crawler is still alive. He's finally going to focus it down with the Stalkers, and it will go down. Both Lings on the field now as well. If they get an engage on the Stalkers, it's going to be good. The Lings do go down to the Zealots, though. There are enough Roaches to hold this off, especially if he burrows. Actually, he doesn't even need to burrow Micro at all. He should just have enough to hold this really, really nicely. He did lose the Spine, but that's just about it. And Frugalate...
Yeah, he's just continuing with this assault, and he's... Submotion, burrow! No, your Roaches! Ah! So he's going to lose the couple off in the retreat, but now his Zerglings reinforced, and once again, all you need the Zerglings for is to deal with the Stalkers. The Stalkers, of course, very nice, very effective against Roaches, but not so great against massive amounts of Zerglings.
The problem now is that actually Submotion, he's doing really well holding this off, but in microing his units, he does get the Mothership Core there, nicely done. But in microing his units, he's been missing injects, and he has so many resources and just not all that much larva. He's just dumping everything into Zerglings.
1,300 resources. I mean, if nothing else, Spine Crawler, something, anything to help with this. Because as you said, without those injects, without the larva, he cannot spend that money.
And he's just dumping stuff into Zerglings. He just lost so many Zerglings to those tanky Zealots, 6 more being warped in, and Frugalate actually takes a supply lead here.
Oh, wow. Alright, well, Spine Crawlers are coming down, but no cancel going down, and...
Oh, that's 200 free minerals if he focuses that. Yeah, he does.
Those are very bold Spine Crawlers, Penguin, to say the least, and these Zealots are not being kited whatsoever. The Roaches are taking a lot of damage here, actually, and now the reinforcements from Submotion
Oh, he's got them on move command! A lot of Roaches going down for free there, and he is gonna... Looks like he's gonna be able to back Frugalate up again, but Frugalate is so far ahead in supply, I don't think Submotion can hold this.
Yeah, the missed rally is really, really hurting him here. If it wasn't bad enough before that he was barely holding it off, donating Roaches like that are really going to cost him. I think Game 1 is going to go to National Instruments, Penguin.
There we go. IBM actually, it looked like Submotion was in a great position there, but IBM losing game 1, they'll have to bring it back in game